Hey, insight number 5, last one for this week. So 62 is actually kind of cool because remember when Alma and the sons of Mosiah went out on missions and they hadn't seen each other for ages and they're walking around, they meet up with each other and they get so excited and have this big reunion? That's what happens here too. So cool, right? So Joseph Smith and his group are walking back, as we discussed, no longer in the boat, they were instructed to walking back, and they meet up with another group of missionaries out there and have this sweet reunion just like Alma and his brethren done. So cool. Alma and Ammon, and yeah, just super awesome to meet up that way, and they hadn't seen each other. Alma hadn't seen his brethren for a couple of years, I think, but these guys had been just a few months, and it was still a sweet reunion. And how nice it is to have, and how many sweet reunions have we had since we can meet back together after COVID. So cool. So, just says, after joyful salutations. I think that's just a lovely way. It's such a 1831 way to put it, isn't it? After joyful salutations, you can see them whooping and hugging and backslapping, and I would call it more than joyful salutations, but it's a lovely way to put it. It just says that, this is the journey back. This is part of the joy in the journey, is to find people and to have that moment with them. This is why they were led that way. Had they been in the canoe, wouldn't have seen them. Right? So one of the reasons to meet up with these guys. So the Lord's talking here and says, I know of your weaknesses, but I'm your advocate with the Father. It's all good. And in verse 2, he actually says that his eyes are on those that have not yet gone on their missions. And he's like, come on, guys, get on your missions. Bump the thing. But in verse 3, this is the nevertheless, because after he admonishes them for those that hadn't gone on their missions, he says, nevertheless, in verse 3, ye are blessed, for the testimony which ye have borne is recorded in heaven for the angels to look upon, and they rejoice over you, and your sins are forgiven. And that's really, really cool. Verse 4 talks on about continuing your journey, and that's something we need to remember every day too, is just to continue your journey. It doesn't have to be the most amazing travel diary today. If it's a hard day, just continue your journey. Take that little step. Continue your journey. Just continue. Just keep moving forward. Even just like this much. It's all good. But we're going to focus on verse 3 there. Oh, that's the verse I was talking about it doesn't matter how you go. In verse 7, yeah, if you want to ride on horses, mules, chariots, you get it. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if there were planes, that would have been an option too. However you get there. All right. But anyway, 62.3, a sweet and timely reminder. Here their missions had only started, a rough start too. Right? They had some rough times out there. Yet, their efforts were looked on and rejoiced over by the angels. Cool, right? Just like our mortal missions, they may not be finished, but they are already accepted and adored. So, could your testimony be so good that an angel would record it and rejoice over it? Yeah. And I'm like, wow. Is my testimony that good that angels record it and rejoice over it? It's kind of cool. It's like the ultimate social media, right? Angels record it and are excited. Tell other angels, oh, look at that testimony. It's awesome. Not that that has to be the way, because the best testimony is what? Simple, straightforward, and complete. Yeah. Doesn't have to be, a multitude of words or written by amazing wordsmiths. These guys, it's from here. And that's the best ones we can bear. So, yes, it can. Your testimony, however your testimony looks, can be that amazing and that awesome that it is recorded and rejoiced over. So theirs was, and, we've got a rough start. You might have had a rough start. That's all right, because it's a refining process. We're getting there. Elder Uchtdorf, he said, sometimes a single phrase of testimony can set events in motion that affect someone's life for eternity. And that's so true. Like one little line from a testimony. And that was true with me too. I was inactive, and there was elders that were visiting me, and I had previous elders that had come by, and they kept telling me the same old things, and da-da-da-da. I'm like, yeah, I know. I went to seminary. I'm got that. It didn't make any difference to me. And it was just this one line from a testimony of an elder that got me thinking differently. He told it straight. He said it straight to me. And that got me thinking. Like, he wasn't He wasn't teaching from the book, he was teaching from the heart. He was teaching his testimony and the way he felt about it. And it made all the difference. One, I respected him a whole lot more. Two, I knew he was actually interested in me, like as a person, not just a number. Yeah, which is kind of cool. It was just really good. Anyway, he continued to work with me and got me back to church. And his companion that he got a couple of months later continued to work on me because he stayed in the area for like another year, I think, just around. Kept running into him, kept an eye on me. It wasn't anything huge and amazing. It was that small, simple, I'm just going to keep an eye on you and just check in with you, see how you're doing. Totally appropriate, totally above board, nothing weird, in case you're thinking. The first elder I talked about ended up marrying my friend, which was cool. Came back. So he's still around. I still see him. He's a really good guy. But that was just that moment, and it's not like we were best buds, from then on or anything. But he spoke his testimony from the heart. His testimony was such that it was recorded and rejoiced over because it was so heartfelt, and that's the best one. So I'm trying to point it out there. But yeah, that single phrase can change events, and it changed events in my life. So if you're thinking your testimony is not good enough, it's not about all the fancy words. It's about coming from here and being true and speaking your truth and how you feel about it and how it's worked for you. That can change someone's life, is your experience. And that's what the angels are rejoicing over, that you're sharing your story of how hard it was, the middle place, the waiting place, that place of transformation, and that you might still be going through. That's what's amazing. That's what's rejoiced over, is that changing broken heart that Mercy River sings about. Most miraculous changing broken heart. It's pretty cool. Anyway, that's me for the week. I hope that uplifts you. And I've got a testimony. I've got a testimony of like living life, like stopping and finding cool stuff like this. If you're wondering what that is, go look at insight number 2. So, yeah, that's my spiel for this week. I'm so glad you joined me again. Hopefully I'll see you next week. We can cover some more awesome stuff. And, yeah, I'm going to have the best day I can. A lot of stress on, sick husband, and I'm not feeling the best, but I wanted to turn up for you guys and try and give you something that will uplift your week. And I'm so glad you're here with me and love this online community. Thank you so much. Mwah. You guys have a good weekend. See ya.